Hello everyone. So let's continue with estimation class 2, that's about bricks. In class 1 we have seen how to find the estimate quantities for concrete. Now in this class we'll learn about bricks. I will also be teaching about some basic what everyone should know about bricks and what materials are used in order to produce bricks. Okay. Now as a cuboid has 6 faces, brick also has 6 faces. Brick is nothing but it is basically very similar to cuboid. The main two laying positions are stretcher and header. So stretcher is this one, this face, and header is this face. When we tilt this brick to a standing position, we get shiner face and roll-off face. And when you completely make a brick to stand, it gives us soldier face, sailor face and soldier face. So these are the 6 basic brick laying position. Now let's see about brick sizes. There are two sizes. One is the nominal and other is the modular size. Nominal size is 19 into 9 into 9 centimeter cube and modular size is 20 into 10 into 10 centimeter cube. So difference between nominal and modular size is modular size accounts the mortar thickness also. In brick bonding, cement and sand mortar is used so that bricks stay in position and contact to each other. Therefore, thus the cement mortar thickness is about 1 centimeter on all three sides. That's why it is 20 into 10 into 10 centimeter cube. Now normally the field size which is used is 9 inch into 4.5 into 3 inch brick, and a good quality brick should be about 3 to 4 kilogram per brick. Okay. Now quality for bricks. Bricks are classified into 3 classes: class 1, class 2 and class 3, where class 3 has a minimum strength of 3.5 Newton per mm square, class 2 has 7 Newton per mm square and class 1 has 10.5 Newton per mm square, which is for 1 mm square of area it can withhold a strength of 10.5 Newton. So that's the meaning of 10.5 Newton per mm square. Also, bricks can be used in various shapes depending upon the bonding we are going to look forward. Okay, so this is a full brick. This one is a full brick, and anything, if a brick is cut into it lengthwise, it is known as closure. Okay, when a brick is cut into its length, it is known as closure. So it is queen closure, which is half. This half and this half are equal. Therefore, it's cut into half according to its length. So it's queen closure half. We also have queen closure quarter. We have king closure. We have beveled closure and mid-thread closure. So these 6 are the types of closures. Now look at bat. Now if a brick is cut according to its width, like this is the width, if it is cut according to its width, it is known as a bat. So closure is cut according to its length and bat is cut according to its width. Okay, so this is a half bat. This is 3/4 brick bat. So it's half plus another quarter. So it's 3/4. And this one is a beveled bat. Okay, so these are the 3 bats which are available in brick. Also, any brick which is laid at a corner of an wall is known as a quoin. Okay, any big brick which is laid at a corner of an wall, it is laid at a corner, is known as quoin. Now let's look at type of brick bonds. So I have made notes about 5 basic brick bonds. There are many brick bonds other than these also. but these five are the most important ones which you have to definitely remember. You can also Google it for many other bonds and take a look at that. So first is an header bond where all the courses, now bricks are laid horizontally, so each row is known as an course. Okay, each row is known as an course. When in an course all laying positions are in header, it's known as an header bond. Okay, now you can see this 3D. All the brick laid are in header, and the cornerstone is a 3x4 brick bat. Brick bat is cut according to its width. It is 3x4 brick bat laid at the corner for a header bond. The second is a stretcher bond where all the facing positions in a course are in stretcher. Also the corner during the construction of a wall is given with point header. So this cornerstone is known as point header. The third one is an English bond, which is the strongest bond. In this, the header and stretcher are in alternative courses. Like one course will consider of header, the second course will be stretcher, third course will be header, fourth course will be stretcher. So this is an strongest bond, and in all the header courses you will find a queen closure. This brick, all the shaded bricks are queen closure. Okay, queen closure is nothing but a brick. This is a full brick which is cut into half in its length is known as queen closure. Okay. Also I have given the plan for a header course and a stretcher course. This is an header course where all headers are in one course, and this is an stretcher course where all headers are in, or all stretchers are in one course. The fourth is a double Flemish bond. In Flemish bond, what happens is header, stretcher are laid alternative in same course. Okay, in English bond their bonding is like this in alternate courses, but in Flemish bond these are in same course but placed alternatively. Okay, header stretcher. So in this bond, in double Flemish bond also, there are queen closures in start of every alternative course. Every alternative course contains a queen closure. Now the fifth type of bond is rat trap bond. Now you can see we have saw only header and stretcher laying positions. In rat trap bond they are shiner and roll off. This is shiner bond and this is roll off. Okay. The benefits of rat trap bond is it can prevent heat from entering into the building. It can control heat. So this is the air void which controls the heat. In one module, see this in this one module we have 3 bricks. So in rat traps bond one module we have 3 bricks. Now this was the match the following question which was asked in GATE 2020. I couldn't get a clear image of that, so if you need the question, it is available in GATE 2020 architecture paper. So here basic in PQRS rat trap bond, English, Flemish, stretcher bond was asked, and they gave the 3D views of that. So it's very easy to figure out. See, rat trap bond consists of a void in between. So between all these options, the fourth one is the only option where it contains a void. So P4. Similarly, if you look at the options P4, So you can strike off these two options. Okay. The rest are English, Flemish and stretcher. English bond contains header, stretcher in alternative course. So try to figure out which option does English match to. If you look at the option, it's Q1, Q1. So Q is definitely 1. See. Header, stretcher. In alternative courses is English bond. R is the Flemish bond and S is the normal stretcher bond. Try to answer these two options and mention in the comment box. Now let's look at the basic ingredients, their contribution. So how brick is formed, what are the ingredients used, and what happens if we use those ingredients in excess. Okay. So the first is silica. Silica is about 50 to 60%. Okay. Silica is used to retain the shape of a brick. It imparts durability, prevents cracking. Some of the major and minor cracks is prevented by use of silica, shrinkage and warping. If silica is added in excess, it makes the brick brittle. Brittle means it is very weak and it will become weak on burning. It will break easily. So the second major component is alumina, which is about 10 to 20%. It imparts plasticity. So in order to mold a brick, it should have some workability. Means it should be easily workable. So that workability is imported by alumina. If alumina is added in excess, it causes shrinkage and warping. The third is lime, which is used in less than 10%. It reduces shrinkage and helps in fusing. Lime is used so that the brick components, silica, alumina, lime, magnesia, iron oxide, would fuse with each other. Okay. And if we add lime in excess, it causes the brick to melt and lose its shape. The fourth one is magnesia. It reduces warping, and if added in excess, it imparts an yellow tint. Similarly, iron oxide. Iron oxide is a component through which brick obtains its red color. Okay, red color in bricks is due to iron oxide. It improves impermeability and durability, gives strength and hardness. If iron oxide is added in excess amount, it imparts a dark blue color. So please remember all the ingredients, contribution, and what happens if we add these ingredients in excess. Okay. So the basic code word to remember the ingredients of brick is SALA. S-A-L-A. Silica, alumina, lime and alkalis. A stands for alkalis, which includes magnesia, iron oxides. And code word for cement was LISA. So LISA is for cement, SALA is for brick. Now let's see how to calculate the number of bricks in quantity and quantity of cement and sand in mortar. So you can calculate the number of bricks for any given volume, for any number of walls. Okay. Now the modular brick size, as we saw, it's not modular, it's nominal. Okay, the nominal brick size we saw is 19 into 9 into 9. When we add a mortar thickness of 10 mm, 1 centimeter, it becomes 20 into 10 into 10. This is the modular size. See, 19 into 9 into 9 is the nominal one, 20 into 10 into 10 is a modular one. Okay. When we add mortar thickness, it's become 20 into 10 into 10 centimeter cube. So ratio of cement and sand is mortar is 1:6. Mortar is nothing and binding material, nothing but a binding material. So cement is used in 1 part and sand is used in 6 parts. So 1 plus 6 gives you 7 parts of cement and sand. Together makes 1 part of mortar. Okay. First we have to calculate for 1 meter cube. If we calculate for this single unit, we can multiply it for how many meter cube we require. So volume of one brick is nothing but 20 into 10 into 10, that's 2000 centimeter cube. If we convert it into meter, it's 0.002 meter cube. So number of bricks in 1 meter cube is nothing but 1 divided by volume of 1 brick. That will give you 500 bricks. Therefore, in every 1 meter cube of construction, number of bricks used are 500. Please remember this. Okay. So what happens if you calculate without mortar? Without mortar, the nominal size is 19 into 9 into 9. This I have converted into meter. So it's 0.001539 meter cube. Therefore, volume of 500 bricks only gives you 500 into this number, which is 0.7695. So 1 meter cube of construction and 0.7695 meter cube of brick volume. Therefore, mortar volume will become 1 minus 0.967695, that is 0.2305. This is the wet volume of mortar, because water will be added to mortar so that it could give the binding property. So in order to change this wet volume to dry volume, you have to multiply by 1.33. In cement or in concrete, we saw the magic factor was 1.54. In this, because the coarse aggregate is not added in mortar, it is 1.33. So dry volume will be 0.2305 into 1.33, which is 0.306 meter cube. That is 1.33 is nothing but 33% of volume will increase when we calculate its dry quantity. So rest of it is same. So you know the dry volume ratio is 1/6. So cement is nothing but 1 out of 7. 1 out of 7 into 0.306. That will give you in meter cube. And in order to convert it to kilograms, you have to simply multiply by its density. Similarly for sand, sand is 6 parts out of 7. It's 1:6 now. So sand is 6 parts out of 6 plus 1 is 7. So in order to convert it into kilogram, multiply by its density. So for preparing 1 meter cube of construction, we need 62 kg of cement and 380 kg of sand for preparing its mortar. So this was my class about bricks. We'll also see some problems in previous GATE question paper. Once I cover all the fundamentals like cement, brick, and next class will be about steel. So I'll try to start the problems in next lecture. Thank you.